Hi Twitch. I'm going live pretty briefly today, just to run through a trophy that I got yesterday with this deck, with this makeup. So first, I want to just describe the decisions I made with this makeup. I want to run through the games in the league, show some gameplay, and then we won't do any original new leagues. I go back to school tomorrow, so I won't be able to be on as much. But I'm happy to get the trophy right at the end. So. Just running through this list, I tried out 20 lands again in 13 1-drops instead of 19 and 14. Kind of like splitting the difference a little bit. I was losing a couple games to just like missing land drops and things like that. I obviously want to maximize my 1-drops. So I tried the 20 and 13, which I hadn't previously done. Ended up working out well. I don't know what the right number is, but there's probably not much of a difference between 19 and 14 and 20 and 13. It felt pretty good either way. I know a lot of people are kind of worried about hitting their land drops and things like that. So if you are, maybe try 20 and 13. Still on 2 Visionary. I like that in the main. They pretty much always get cut for things that are more impactful or go into a certain plan. But they've been pretty good. That was an Elvish Visionary for a while, or a third Elvish Visionary, but I turned it into a Glissa. I think having one, either Glissa or Realm Walker in the main board is nice to kind of like have a 2 durable effect when both players are out of gas. The deck ends up playing like almost everything is like less than 2 mana. So if you don't have a critical mass, sometimes it can be frustrating where you're finding yourselves in these situations where it's like I actually like don't have a good top deck. So having like Chord getting Glissa, it does feel like a good move. Or same thing with Realm Walker. So I like having one. I tried 0 for a while and it's fine, but having one of that effect seems pretty good. 4 Coco, 4 Chord of Calling, best cards in the deck. No explanation there. All of these I think are pretty important. I don't think you want to leave home without any of them. Red Black Sacrifice I haven't been seeing much recently, so I've been kind of trying to convince myself to cut Yasharn. This could easily be a Guardian of Faith. You can probably see right now I don't have Guardian of Faith in the list right now. I've been kind of like going back and forth between that one. If Meat Hook Massacre gets bigger, or if let's say Red Black switches to only exclusively Extinction Event, those are things that would make me want Guardian of Faith back in the deck. But yeah, for now, I it's kind of like that or this. I don't end up casting these, but Stay in the Mind I think is a staple too. Stay in the Mind's really important right now. It's a combo meta in Pioneer, so you want to be able to hit the combo pieces. Okay, so these are kind of new. So we got 3 Shaper Sanctuary, 2 Pylon. So I was thinking, and one of the reasons why I cut Guardian of Faith is that Red Black can be tough, especially post board. With them sporting into like between 4 and 6 sweepers, it's really hard to beat single target removal and sweepers and Shieldred, right? Like we kind of are able to beat any 2 of them, but not the third. So in games where it's like they start off with single target removal and then land a Shieldred, that can be really tough. In games where they start with single target removal and slow down and sweep, that can be tough. And it's hard to board into a strategy that's good against all 3. So my previous strategies have been good, like trying to be good against single target removal and the sweeper effects, but ignore Shieldred and try to beat it. That hasn't been working quite as well as I've wanted it to. Shieldred like ended up almost always saying it lands and it says 4 mana deal 20. And it was pretty frustrating. So I'm trying a different approach. Now you're not going to see gameplay from that, but I'm thinking, what if I bring in Pylons and Shapers, Sanctuaries in? So I don't beat the Sweepers. Or maybe I'd like have a Selfless Spirit or something like that. But I'm worse against the Sweepers. But I'm better against single target removal. And I'm better against Shieldred. And then we can kind of fight through the Sweepers with different ways, with Collected Companies, with just like keeping cards in hand because of Shaper Sanctuary, things like that. So that's the mindset. Let's just jump into some gameplay. So I have it written down here where to start. I don't remember any of these games because it was yesterday, so I'll be as surprised as you are when we see some of the footage. All right, so we are on the play. We keep a pretty solid hand. This has turn 2 Glissa, which is pretty powerful. I was really excited to play turn 2 Glissa because it almost never happens. But they revealed themselves to be on Greasefang. So I really have to change my strategy. Turn 2 Glissa against Greasefang does nothing. Doesn't grind, doesn't really dodge removal, because those things don't matter. What matters in this matchup is going to be speed. So while I kept the hand because I could turn 2 Glissa, I have to switch strategies now. I'm going to kick myself if I do it. Okay. So I play Elvish Visionary. I play Elvish Mystic. We're just going to try to develop the board as fast as we can. So they were Fiend's Informant. Get an Isika's Chariot in the graveyard. So just quick pause. So where's my mind going right here? Remember, I haven't played this in a bit, but Glissa's Sunslayer is actually good against Isika's Chariot, right? Like we could develop our mana and draw cards. You know, that actually kind of like uses this perfectly. But if they attack with Isika's Chariot, Glissa actually like blocks it pretty well. So I think you're going to see me play a Glissa here. Yeah. It's not great, but, you know, just getting this critical mass so the Shaman of the pack ends up dealing more damage is going to be good. We're at a point where Chord, I think, is lethal. Right? Like, if we draw a Chord, we go Jaspera Sentinel, Visionary, Shaman, Chord. I don't remember if that's what happens, but we've set ourselves up to be in a good spot. We can block this Isika's Chariot for free. Well, I guess it's not free because it goes back to the graveyard and they guarantee a Greasefang trigger, but it's pretty much free. And we draw Shaman. So on this board state, let's just get to a quick pause. I think no matter what decisions we make, as long as we're casting spells, we win. If they can get a Sky Sovereign into the graveyard, that's not great. But otherwise, we're in a pretty great spot. So so quick pause. I actually take it back. I ended up spending my mana poorly and using both my black sources. It doesn't really matter because I can cast both of these next turn. But yeah, I kicked myself a little bit for that one. Hey, what's up, Dave? Thanks for joining. So they Parhelion. So just quick pause on their end. I was actually a little bit scared. If they attacked all out, I don't think I could win. I'd have to. So I'm obviously taking 13. If they attack all out, I can do a free block here, but this is 19. So I have to block one of these. And then I would have to tap 1, 2, 3, 4 to play both. Maybe I could win. Let's see how much damage I get down. Okay, so I would have done. They would have brought him to 1. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. It was right for them to hold back, I guess. So that's game 1. Let's jump into game 2. So I'm boarding in removal spells. I boarded in Pylon. I like Stain the Mind. I like it less on the draw. Jaspera Sentinel is probably the best thing to lead against Greasefang, just because it doesn't die to Witherbloom command, so it feels pretty good. Sky Sovereign is the scariest thing we can look at. You can see our board state's not super great. We didn't like develop quickly enough. So they didn't play Greasefang. Greasefang would have probably killed us on the spot, but they can now tutor for Greasefang, right? Okay. So we get a nice turn here. We get to play Shaman and a quick pause. So we get to play Shaman here. I could have spent mana on Mystic, but I actually have Pylon mana right now because Shaman can tap for black, which feels really powerful. Obviously, like in a perfect world, we'd want to be able to play this. If this was anything other than just Jaspera Sentinel, we would have been able to. But yeah, we're kind of stuck here, which is fine. This feels like a really good spot. So they play their Greasefang before they get the trigger. We'll Pylon. We get to Stain the Mind. Yep, so we get to draw Stain the Mind. We'll play our Elvish Mystic. Quick pause. This Chord of Calling is going to be really powerful. Our hand's pretty just busted anyway. But if we Stain the Mind Greasefang right now, and I actually make a mistake, but you'll see that in a moment. If we Stain the Mind Greasefang right now, the only card we're really worried about is Sky Sovereign. One's already in the graveyard. But we can name Greasefang and like have 2 turns of just not caring about what they do at all, which is really nice. So yeah, I'm gonna Stain the Mind, Greasefang. So notice what I do here. Does anybody notice? I left this one here. What's going on with that? I offer up this trade. I actually don't like offering the trade now that I'm rethinking this. I was thinking like, no matter what, I'm eventually going to trade that. I think that's wrong. That mindset is wrong. It frees up attacks in the future turns, which is nice. But I think this Chord is probably getting a Shaman, so we miss out on a damage with that decision. But I guess there is a chance that it doesn't get Shaman. So this is a really good draw. We get some good attacks. We still have Chord up for whatever we want. Probably a Shaman on their turn. They take damage. And basically, no matter what decision they make, we're going to hit them with this Chord. Nice. All right, so there's game 1. Sid, let's see. So this is going to be game... or sorry, that was match 1. Here's match 2. All right, we are on play again. Get to play our Jaspera Sentinel. Pretty decent hand, kept a 7. Not doing anything super well. It's actually not the best hand now that I see that it's green, but it's always nice to play against green when they don't start with an elf. If we're going to draw Lair, that's the time to draw it. I'd rather play Leaf Crown rather than Visionary. Like, if we play Visionary, it's kind of just drawing to a 1-drop. It's not super good. So we're going to draw an extra card here. And we have some decisions to make, but I think playing this is better to get through next in the upcoming turns. It also gives us 2 damage here. We didn't want to trade that otherwise. They have some good development, though. They must have drawn 2 elves in a row. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so I feel like I'm in a really good spot. Draw the Nykthos, that's great. Get some more board development, because the rest of our decisions don't really matter, right? Like, we're pretty much locked to win next turn. We have Nykthos, we have Shaman in the pack. I don't care about drawing extra cards. I don't really care about getting too much extra damage in. They already have a big blocker. So we're just going to let them do their thing. As long as they don't interact with us too much, we're in a good spot. Obviously, they have really great turn here. Tribute of the World Tree, that's a cool one. Karn with 8 mana up is not what we wanted. Cityscape Leveler takes out our Warmaster. That's probably their most impactful pick. They draw some extra cards, but they can't do any more development. And I think... I'm trying to figure out how to tap my mana, because activating Lair might be relevant. I don't think it is, though. I think it's just completely completely irrelevant, but we'll see, because this Shaman's going to deal a lot of damage, and we have a lot of damage on attacks. So we can draw some cards here. It's completely free. So this is a cool... So before the Shaman comes into play, we get to collect a company with our floating mana, just so that Shaman's going to deal more damage. I probably should have waited for the Shaman trigger, though, right? Doesn't matter. Yeah, I should have waited for the Shaman to be in play. Yeah, they would have been at -4 if I waited that, but it doesn't matter. They were gonna die to combat damage no matter what. Okay, so that went well. We are going to game 2. Okay, solid hand. Want another green source so that we can double spell next turn. I guess we can double spell with the elite. It is nice to play Leaf Crown on turn 2, because then you would untap with so much devotion for Nykthos. But either way. It's nice to have 1-drops, especially with a Nykthos draw. We don't draw it, but we get some development. I think that I do like Dwynen's Elite. There's an argument for double Jaspera Sentinel here, but if we just double Jaspera Sentinel and don't have a token, it's going to be hard to tap them and develop our mana in a meaningful way. So I don't know. It's kind of close, but I kind of like getting the higher CMC card out in this situation. So far, things are going well. I mean, they had really good development. They miss a land drop. Or no, they just get in first. Best land in the deck. Cavalier. So yeah, things aren't feeling great. Our hand's still really good. So we get to do a nice turn of Warmaster and Leafcrown Visionary. Next turn we can double Collected Company. So even though things haven't been going completely our way so far, feels like if we untap, we probably win. I don't think we get to untap. This Storm of the Festival must hit something really good. Yeah, okay. Stonebrain. I concede in response, so they can't see everything. But yeah, that game's over. Game 3. I didn't want them to see our sideboard plan. Yeah. Oh wait, I don't know why I'm clicking yes. We keep this one. So this is a solid example of one land when keep. Look at the upside on this hand. Right? Like I know that it's not perfect. I know we want to draw land next turn. But we have an elf which like can't ever be removed in this matchup. We also have Elephant of Warmaster Elf. Like we have really powerful things going on. We have great late game. It's kind of like the mid that we're trying to fill the gap between. Like these 4 cards are really good, and then eventually these 4 cards are really good. I think it's worth keeping. It's kind of close, but having a sideboard card is just really powerful. We really want the land. We don't get it, but that's okay. We got some powerful things going on. We get the land. We get to Stain the Mind. I think we name Karn. They don't have any in their hand. Their hand's actually pretty decent. If they get some mid-game filler in there. But yeah, I feel like we're in a spot where it's gonna feel pretty hard to lose from here. We get the elf down that guarantees Collected Company next turn. We have Chord of Calling on their turn. We can get in with. I'm trying to figure out what I want to attack with. I don't remember why I'm thinking so hard. I probably was thinking that I want to leave one more back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can chord for 3 next turn. But yeah, let's see why I was making that decision. Like I could have Phyrexian Revoker for Kiora, but I don't think I'm really scared of anything now that Karn's gone. Like they can get as big of a board as they want. It doesn't really matter. So in response to this Kiora, in response to this World Tree, I let them go off a little bit, but I started to get a little scared because, they're chaining. They got to Storm the Festival in Graveyard and stuff like that. They have 2. So I end up naming Kiora here. It basically time warps them, right? Like they can't activate this turn. Nykthos is a good draw for sure. And I could collect a company here, but I just go for the chord because it's lethal. Right? If we chord here, it deals 11, and then we can definitely get in for the rest of the damage. Yeah, once again, I think mono green's a good matchup. Just like any deck, if you lose to it, feels like it was horrible the whole time. But we can race them, and we have some solid sideboard strategies against them. That was game 3. All right, so we're going against, let's see, who was it? Brunorma. Let's get into the details here. Okay, we're on the play again. Keep this hand, it's a little weak. We definitely want something to follow up the Warmaster. Looks like it's Greasefang. Thoughtseize takes away our card. If they didn't Thoughtseize, this would have been a really good turn. Fiend's Informant, getting Sky Sovereign in the graveyard, and I think that we just concede after this. We don't really have much going on. And I think they Greasefang here, and yeah, we can't recover from that. Game's over. So quickly lose game 1 to a turn 3 Greasefang, which is, probably going to happen once a match. This one's a super solid hand. Got a 1-drop into some solid 2-drops. We have token generators to Chord of Calling with. We have a hate piece. So yeah, I like a lot of things that are going on here. They get a swamp. We can double spell here, which is really nice. All right, player Jaspera Sentinel. Just quick pause. I like Dwindsley over Leafcrown Visionary, because Leafcrown, obviously, it's not going to draw a card if we play it last, but we'll draw other elves, right? It's an elves deck. And another reason is because I can just get aggressive next turn. Like, let's say they do something that's not super productive. I can just Leafcrown attack next turn, and even having 1 turn of having your Lord turned on is really powerful. So, see what they do. They do nothing, which can be really scary. Once again, I'm making that same decision here. Instead of playing the Lord, because the Lord doesn't really do much, we're going to get in for an extra 1 damage. I'm playing the Warmaster, and that makes this the biggest target on the field, or this the biggest target on the field. The nice thing about Soulless Jailer is it is kind of a time warp effect, right? Like, it's not like this can lock up the entire game. It dies to a lot of the removal in their deck. It dies to the Boseiju, it dies to Fatal Push, it dies to Abrupt Decay. But the nice thing is, like, they can't combo when it's out. So I'm protecting myself from Greasefang combo for 1 turn right now, right? Like, if they Grizzly Salvage, they can't untap in Greasefang. They have to untap, use a removal spell, and then the following turn is the best turn for them to Greasefang. And also, if they do Greasefang, we're not dead that turn, we're dead the following turn. So I think that was the best board development that we had. Our next turn, I can Leafcrown and attack. I can Chord of Calling for a lot of damage or something like that. But I think this is the best way we could have developed our board. Them having this Confluence as the first thing is also really impactful for us. So they get Rafine's Informant. We're a little bit worried about Fatal Push, but they don't play too many anymore. I probably should have shocked this in first in case they Fatal Push in response. So if we attack like this, we have Chord as an option. And then if I wait till they block, this is the strategy that I went with. We wait till they block, I can Chord for the Lord now. Get a free damage in there. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, I don't think, like, it wasn't super worth it to get what's it called? Shaman there. It would have dealt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would have dealt 7. Bring them to 1, but they're dead next turn anyway. I'd rather kind of save this. It's close. Oh, it wouldn't have brought them to 1. Would have brought them to 4 because these weren't pumped. But yeah, I think that was the right move. Anyway, that's game 2. Let's jump into game 3. We're on the draw this time. It's a lot scarier to be on the draw against Greasefang. But we have a solid hand. 1 drop into some token generators into Pylon. They don't take Pylon, which is kind of weird because I think it's the best card that I have in my hand. But they're trying to slow our development. They didn't do anything turn 2, which is crazy. I wanted to have Pylon up, so I only played Llanowar Elves. Yeah, so they played their green mana that turn, right? So that probably means Grizzly Salvage, so I just want Pylon up for pretty much the rest of the game. Anyway. They go for a Seeker's Chariot. So they're shifting gears here a little bit. So Pylon is less good now, right? Because we're behind on this board. As long as we can develop, I think we're going to have some really powerful turns coming up. We just need to get there. So I choose to play Jaspera Sentinel here just so I can cast Collected Company and develop my board further soon. I don't really care about taking 4 next turn. I could always pile on a Seeker's Chariot. I don't think it's great, but I think we end up doing that later. So I'm not in a rush to use my mana or anything. The Grizzly Salvage again. And they grab a Darkboard Pathway. So we get our land. And here you can see I'm just developing my board. I want this Collected Company to hit a Shaman and that Shaman to do a lot of damage. That's the plan right now. So once again, keep developing that board. We could always in a future turn Collected Company and Elvish Visionary in the same turn. That feels really powerful. At this point, I do pile on... I think I pile on the Esika's Chariot. Yeah. Trade here. I want to preserve my life total because a Greasefang, I put pile on top, but a Greasefang is obviously really good on this board state if they can get... Like, they don't have anything in their graveyard to get right now other than the Esika's Chariot that just died, which wouldn't be super impactful. But I think that the reason I like going for the trade there is because we just have to be using our mana, and we have to pad our life total, right? We don't want to go below 13 in case they can't get a Parhelion out. Anyway, so we're gonna go for a Collected Company. It's a pretty good one. We do have to leave this black up for the rest of the game still, which is fine. We have some solid attacks. I think like the only thing that I'm really afraid of is them going them having a second Greasefang after I remove the first Greasefang. So I just removed the Greasefang. They got the Parhelion in the yard, and we're good. So they're only at 6. We lose to a Fog, but those don't exist in this format, or at least not in an impactful way. And we can attack all out here for the 3rd match win. I don't know why I left this back. Insurance. I think this was insurance for like Fog, maybe. And then if they Parhelion, they still don't win through it. But yeah, that was a good one. All right, we're going... That was all 3 there, so we're going against Magnius. All right. Game 1. All right, so quick pause. I kept this hand, and you're probably thinking, why'd you do that? So they reveal Kahira, so that's important to note. So I know it's against control. And this, I know we just drew Warmaster, but this 7 has cards that are really impactful against control. I don't really want to just like overextend into a sweeper on the draw. I don't think that's yeah, I don't want to overextend into a sweeper on the draw. That's not really conducive. Sometimes getting Leap Crown down just really early can make a sweeper less impactful because we can like stay at card parity and stuff like that. So that was my plan. Collected Company's best card in the matchup, game 1. So I did keep it just with that knowledge, even though it didn't have a 1-drop. It's close though. It's close. I don't want to say like I'd recommend that or anything like that, but I go for this instead of Warmaster. Warmaster kind of just makes me overextend. If this resolves, then you know I have a decent game plan. They buy Kahira. We have a decent turn. We go Warmaster into Stalwart. That's going to make Chord of Calling something later on down the road. They play their Kahira. Them playing Kahira here is a little bit of a signal that they don't have Sweeper, right? Like they'll want to play that after Sweeper, so it probably means they don't have the Sweeper in their hand. So I felt a little bit better extending into their board, especially when they're tapped out right now. So we get some decent development. We also have Chord right here. So we just pass. We have Collected Company in hand still. Our position's pretty good. If they sweep right now, you know, obviously that's really bad. In response to this, March of Otherworldly Light, we get a Chord of Calling, which hopefully will be nice. I chord for 2. I don't know why it chose 2, but it doesn't matter. Hollow Moonlight. So this is Hollow Moonlight is popular right now, so I just want to pause and take note of this. It doesn't matter too much, but I got Jaspera Sentinel because I don't want to draw it, right? Like it will be exiled, but take like the worst card out of your deck if you can. It will be helpful. Okay. So still not worried about a Wrath, really, because I can't beat one. Our board doesn't beat... Our board barely beats this Kahira, never mind anything else. So we get a pretty solid Collected Company here. Get some good attacks in. Still can't beat a Wrath, but if they have it, they have it. They probably win the game because of it. They're blocking in a way where They don't have the Wrath again, so that's great. So we get Visionary. This could be countered. We get some attacks in. This screams Wandering Emperor, which is fine. All right, we have them pretty low. Fateful Absence. It could be right to crack this clue. I just want to get a bunch of cards on the board still. Like, if they we can't beat a Farewell anyway, right? Like, why are we going to try to beat a Farewell? We do get an extra card if we do it in the other order. But they played Teferi. They bounce this. They make a 2/2. And I think they're not quite dead on board. This is the perfect draw. This draw makes it so I think they're at 0 outs. Oh, they have 0 cards in hand. So we had 2 draws at either Leafcrown Visionary or a Shaman in the pack, both being lethal, or Chord of Calling. So we had a lot of good draws there. But yeah, I think that I like the way that I played around removal here, or around sweepers. Their signals, such as playing Kahira, suggested that they're top decking their sweepers rather than already having it. So I like taking that risk there. Don't play around sweepers if you can't beat them. All right. Game 2. Not the best hand, but we got a 1-drop into a 2-drop. Feels okay. Kind of have to draw our way out of it, but get a Shaman. Feels pretty good. They lay down arms. Not the best. All right. So we drew Chord of Calling. So just pause here. You want to have the option of being able to go Chord of Calling for Selfless Spirit, but you have to have a board for that to be impactful. So we have to extend for one turn into a board wipe, which is fine. Them not countering here pretty much signals that they have it. We'll see what happens. I don't even remember. Yeah, they have it. Hand's horrible now. Probably never win in a million years, but no other decisions really to be made. Narset, hard to beat. So I think we attacked Narset down. Oh. So yeah, we attacked Narset down to 1 because of this. Temporary lockdown's obviously great. We have Chord to get around that. What we have going is pretty close. I'm kind of weary about playing around like Hollowed Moonlight or whatever. I go for it here, I think. Oh, I don't. Okay. We're just playing some past turns. Maybe I'm waiting for them to like play a Teferi or something so I can do it in response, but probably bad that I'm not going for it. I'm giving them more time to draw outs. Probably should have been a little bit more aggressive. So I play the Jaspera Sentinel. I need to pressure this somehow. They're up to 7 cards. Scary. They're really waiting with this Field of Ruin, too. I was very surprised this went off. Felt pretty good about our situation here. We attack Narset, and I don't remember what happened. So they have March. We get Narset down, and I pass. So I thought that this might elicit a sweeper to come down. It ends up not doing that. They have Wandering Emperor. They must have just drawn that. Get a good block in there. And we get to draw a card off of Warmaster, which is impactful. If I had made these decisions like 3 turns earlier, I think we'd be in a lot better of a spot, but it's okay. So we still get this. We get to develop our board, and then we put ourselves in a position to be weak to a wipe, and I think that's what they have. Oh, no, they don't. Nice. Lay down arms is really good, though. We don't really have much going on. They have 3 cards in hand. It's hard to even imagine what they are. That Lair was a little bit inopportune. They've been waiting with that Field of Ruin. Wasn't really impactful on the Nykthos. They buy Kahira. They don't play it, though. It's a little bit scary. We don't have much going on, though. Can't beat this. Play the Dwynen's Elite. I'm holding with this in hand just so I can, like, a Lord will draw a card. Now my mindset has started to shift. Like, I want to have Warmaster overrun, be able to maybe do something. We don't have too much time to be playing around with this. Temporary lockdown is a beating. But if we can destroy this, then we're in a pretty decent spot. We get Collected Company. We go. I think we're going to go for it if they tap out or on their upkeep. Yeah, upkeep. Just so you know, against control, you do constrain their mana pretty decently to get in the practice of just doing this before they draw their first card. Just so you know. And I think that we're just dead here. We can't really do much. Boseiju would be pretty good. But yeah, concede. We were drawing towards like Reclamation Sage or Boseiju or Chord of Calling. Any of those would have been pretty good right there. We'd open that up. Anyway, let's exit out. Go to game 3. Okay. Mulligan, the Unkeepable hand. Have a pretty good one. Get some solid development. So this hand has what some of the other ones are missing, where we just have a really strong turn 2. So it really forces the Wrath. That's something that's really important to try to strive for. So that's pretty good. This hand just keeps getting weaker and weaker. I could have played Dwynen's Elite there too. I don't know why I didn't. I probably just should have. So we played Dwynen's Elite now, and I attack in for 3. Hand's pretty weak to a Wrath. We kind of needed some untapped sources there, but if we can untap one time, this Collected Company is going to be doing a lot of work. So we can only get in for 2. And this is funny. So Wandering Emperor, exile, trigger on the sack. Collected Company for lethal. I wasn't expecting to get lethal here, especially attacking for 2. But yeah, we got it on a -3. So that was kind of a lucky game. I think I kind of played a little bit poorly with not playing the Leaf Crown when I could have. I think if I were to go back in time, that's the only thing I would have changed about that game. Board games too. Can't wait for board games too. How's it going, Lewis? Whoa. Quick pause before we go. We see Kahira. So this is a solid keep anyway, because we have turn 2 Warmaster with Jaspera Sentinel, but Collecting Company is a welcome addition. This is like the same hand as last game. Didn't even realize. Like almost identical, right? With hold on. I just played the last one. Okay. We didn't go to the next. All right, here's match 5. There we go. I was like, what? This is really weird. Okay. So I think they reveal Kahira again. That's why I got confused. Yeah, okay. So they reveal Kahira again. I made the same decision as last time. Game 1. We had a hand with Leaf Crown, Visionary, decent amount of lands, and Collected Company. So I made the decision to keep something without a 1-mana spell in it. I think that's a good decision still. Can be risky, but we have a pretty high impact hand. So we play our Leaf Crown Visionary. We really hope that it untaps. And they have Lay Down Arms. So unfortunate there, but once again, I still think it's the right move. Decent board development. We have 2 Collecting Companies in hand. I think that this was a really bad play. Just kind of quick pause. I don't think, if you're ever in this situation, attacking with this Elvish Mystic is just too high risk. I was thinking like, oh, it's a free damage. I'm just going to like play this Boseiju and Collecting Company anyway, so I don't care if it dies. I think that I like Censor exists, Warrior Disruption exists, and just like it's impactful anyway. So this line is weak to exactly Shark Typhoon. A little bit of a learning moment for me here, because I played Boseiju and have the unlucky line of getting my Collected Company countered. So bad move. Learning experience. We draw the other Collected Company though, so had it the whole time. Quick pause. So they're kind of representing not much. They didn't use removal spells previously. So I kind of want to just go in for the damage here. I could just like hold Collected Company, but if I hold Collected Company right now, what's it gonna do? Like, they don't have to Wrath this. So if I just keep holding Collected Company and just like getting it counter on an end step, that's not gonna do anything for me. What I'd rather do is like actually play 6 damage to the board, force the Wrath, and then untap and Collected Company from this board state. Because you're not really doing much if you're not forcing the Wrath. So I have another Shark Typhoon. They're just trying to dig for their Wrath. Lay down arms is pretty good. Another Shaman is welcome. So I think I Wrath here, or sorry, Collected Company here. So I want to just talk about quickly shifting mindsets. So you're probably thinking like, why would I do that? They untap and Wrath. The fact that Watering Emperor on the board means that if they Wrath, they can just Wrath and then make a token. We're no longer like just ahead of main phase Collected Company, right? So they've kind of represented to me that they don't have the Wrath already. They're going to have to top deck into it. So I'd rather get some extra damage here, get a trade in here, something like that, so that we can be in a better spot when we do force a Wrath and then Collected Company. Also, I had enough damage on board that I took the draw card instead of Warmaster. So they had to exile a card in their hand. That's good for us. I don't really remember how the rest of this game plays out. So we Collected Company, get some guys. We get an attack in on the Wandering Emperor. So this is nice. So if they Wrath, we can just like untap and double spell. We also have Lair the Hydra. So the lower they get, the more confident I am in this Lair of the Hydra being powerful. So they found Farewell, which is fine. We can get our Leaf Crown down and Shaman down. Now we have like a lot of impactful threats. So this guy can draw a card. It's a good draw, because now he can draw a card with the Shaman. And once again, I'm just putting myself in a position where this Lair of the Hydra is really impactful for the second Wrath, if they find it. And if they don't, then we win. Great. Okay. And now last one. Solid hand. Hard to ask for more. Chord of Calling has Selfless Spirit. That's the more we could ask for, right? They make disappear this, so it's fine. But I think we have to risk it either way. Okay, March of Otherworldly Light, powerful effect. We can play all of these. If they Wrath right here, Chord of Calling is pretty bad, but not much we can do about that. So Leaf Crown's pretty good here. We can't really save for a good Chord of Calling, so I do just attack. And they still don't have the Wrath. And now we're pretty good. So I activate Nykthos. So quick pause. Okay. So I activate Nykthos for 4. Draw a card with this. And now we have 1 floating that'll go away. We have 4 creatures out. So I make a play with Chord of Calling that's a little bit on the risky side, especially since we saw Farewell last game. But I had the I was thinking that, what do we lose to? We lose to Farewell. Um, they haven't used any of their mana here, so like chances are they have like Counterspell or Wandering Emperor or something like that. So I want just insurance against Supreme Verdict because that's the most likely. Like they play 4, right, on average. So I just wanted to have insurance against Supreme Verdict. So with that extra floating mana, I'm going to Chord of Calling. For it was supposed to be for the Spirit, but instead I just got Jaspera Sentinel so I don't draw it. And we put ourselves at the mercy of a sweeper. So they have Lay Down Arms. That's impactful. Just a quick pause again. So I still have this Chord of Calling trick. I think that was a good play also because I already had the Reclamation Sage, right? Like if they played Temporary Lockdown, we had insurance against that, which is great. Shaman's a great draw here. Especially the Shaman no attack. Because we want to be able to beat a Selfless Spirit. So they Shark Typhoon. That probably means they're just digging. This 2/2 doesn't do much, but yeah, so this is just a big signal that they're about to Wrath. So in response to this Temporary Lockdown, quick pause. So I'm pretty sure I have lethal, right? Like they're at 8. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. We have exactly lethal. So if this resolves, like I have a good turn against it next turn, right? I have like Reclamation Sage, whatever. But if I can just chord for Masked Vandal and I have the creature in the graveyard to exile this so it never happens, I just have lethal on board. That seems better. They also are representing a counterspell, so if they counter that, I can just untap and Reclamation Sage it. They'll be left with 1 card in hand. So I feel like we're still in a pretty decent spot. But yeah, Masked Vandal just feels impactful here, so I went for it with the trigger on the stack. We also get the Warmaster trigger, which is really good. And I think that's game. Yeah. So there's our 5-0. So that was trophy number 12 with the deck. So I was pretty happy with it. Let's just go back to the collection. So this is the list we were running. I'm pretty happy with it. There's a couple flaws, or maybe I shouldn't say flaws, but there's a couple decisions here that I just want to talk about. I think I already talked about these for the red-black matchup. We're sacrificing a little bit against Greasefang. I really like Ray of Enfeeblement in that matchup. I think on the play, we have a lot of things that we can do against them post-board, right? Like Pylon even works on the play, right? On turn 3, you can definitely hold up Pylon for their turn 3 Greasefang. You can't do that on turn 2. On turn 2, you could Ray of Enfeeblement, so it's less insurance on the draw against Greasefang when it's good on the play post-board against Greasefang. So it's a little bit scary there. I don't love that about the current list, but I do think that this is a better red-black plan. Alternatively, like maybe we could play like a Ray of Enfeeblement in like 2 Vivians or something like that. Because I've heard some people saying that they're not really into Shaper Sanctuary right now, which I get. I just thought that this is what I'd want to try jumping into it. Also, like against Red Black, I'm bringing these in and maybe a Selfless Spirit. So that's 5 cards. That brings us to 27 hits. It's pretty low. So maybe like we don't even want this. We want just 4 for this matchup, which maybe would be better to do 2 Vivians, 2 Pylons or something. Just some thoughts. I like where it's at, but definitely has some areas that we are kind of like letting ourselves be vulnerable. Also spirits, right? Like we don't have anything against spirits right now really at all. Maybe we could like add a Skylasher or something like that, but not having Fatal Push or anything hurts a little bit. Pylon's actually pretty decent there. It's not super fast, but it can be fast enough. I think our spirits matchup is decent, but they can definitely run away with the game, especially if we don't have any post-board cards. All right, but 6 viewers, thanks for watching. This is going to go up on YouTube pretty soon, so everybody say bye, YouTube. If you have any questions on the deck, please let me know. Last final plug, I do post a lot in our Discord server. Let me know in the comments on YouTube if you want an invite to that. I can't really post a link because they expire. So just let me know if you want to be invited, and anybody can join. There are Patreon-only channels. I post sideboard guides and things on my Patreon. If you want to help support the channel, you can follow me there. If you want to just see general updates for the deck, you can follow me on Twitter. And lastly, YouTube and Twitch are places where you can see more of my content. All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.